Hey YouTubers, come back for some more guitar lessons, eh? Cool. Right, well, if you've done my previous lesson on finding all the C's on the guitar neck, we're going to pick that up and we're going to learn a little bit about what these positions for these notes C really mean and how we can use them to start thinking about musical keys, scales and chord shapes. So, to start off, I'm just going to quickly review the 5 positions that we're going to have for C and the names that I'm going to give for those notes C. So first of all, 5th string 3rd fret and the 2nd string 1st fret. This would be on the 5th string middle C and the 2nd string 1st fret is treble C. Just to review, that relates to the musical stave that we have, the treble clef. So the middle C is the note that's just below the lower line on the treble clef, and the 2nd string 1st fret, the treble C, represents the C that's actually on the lines. It's the 3rd space up on the treble clef, written music. So here we have our first position, middle C, treble C. Then off the 5th string 3rd fret again, we have middle C, but now the 3rd string 5th fret, we have treble C. Then the 6th string 8th fret, we have middle C, and the 3rd string 5th fret, we have treble C, and then over on the 1st string 8th fret, we have high C, which is right up off the stave. Then on the 8th fret again, 6th string, we have middle C, and on the 4th string 10th fret, we have treble C, and then on the 1st string 8th fret, we have high C. Then moving to the 4th string 10th fret again, we have treble C, and then moving up to the 13th fret of the 2nd string, we have high C. So this creates 5 positions for middle C and treble C and high C. Position 1, position 2, position 3, position 4, and position 5. Now above the 12th fret, basically this whole sequence is going to repeat itself. The other thing I want you to think about is basically anything at the 12th fret beyond there, it's a mirror image, isn't it, of what's below the 12th fret. If this is the 6th string open and that's the letter E, and the next fret after that is the letter F on the 1st fret, well, it's the same up here. The 12th fret on the 6th string is E, and the 13th fret is F, and it's a semitone, 1 step open to the 1st fret, and then 12 to 13, E to F, a half step. Okay, so these 5 positions on the guitar neck, inside each one of these positions, if we think of them like a little block, we can have a whole series of notes, natural notes, like the white notes on a piano keyboard. And those notes would be from the musical alphabet A, B, C, D, E, F and G. Now we're organising that alphabet of notes to start and end with the letter C. So here on the 5th string, if I just play from there and ascend through the alphabet, I'm not going to show you this sequence now, I'll do this on a worksheet later, but I'll just play it for you. So this will be the letters C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, and I'll end up with the C on the 2nd string 1st fret. Like that. So that's for that one position. So within that one position, we've got that little sequence of notes. Now if I move to my 2nd position, I've also got a sequence of notes. Now in this position, I can play it in 2 different ways. This is the first way, starting with my 2nd finger. And then starting with my 1st finger, I can play it in a different way. So in that one position, I have 2 different ways of playing the same thing. Both of those block sort of scales are all off that middle C on the 5th string 3rd fret. Now if I move to the 8th fret, and I can do exactly the same thing, so I can start off that note C 8th fret and play C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And then I I could move, rather than starting with my pinky off that 8th fret, I could move and play it with my 2nd finger. Or I could move to play it with my 1st finger. So there's 3 different ways of playing the same scale in this couple of positions. So in that 3rd position, I've got one way. Now in the next position, 8th fret and the 10th fret, I've got one way or another way. Now off the 4th string 10th fret, I'm going to be starting from the treble C and going up to high C. And again, this will give me the same scale but an octave higher, and the fingering is slightly different. Okay, so there I've got 5 positions, and within those positions I can play several different ways of fingering the same scale, the C major scale, the C scale. Now in each one of these block positions, if I was to construct a chord for that very first note of the scale, C, that would give me a C chord. And in each one of those block positions, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's going to create a particular shape of chord. And I'll do that now off the 1st position. So that 1st scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now I'm just going to number those notes. The first note is obviously going to be note number 1. The second note, C, D, is note number 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And the last note, you could think of it as note number 8, relating to an octave, but I find it useful when teaching people about scales and chords, best to think of that note in this instance as note number 1 again. So the formula for creating a chord is where we play 3 notes to begin with, called a triad, all at the same time. So we're going to take 3 of these notes from this scale here, and we're going to play them at the same time. So we're going to play C, note number 1, then we're going to play note number 3, C, D, E, C, D, E, and then we're going to go from E, and we're going to put a 5th note in. So C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so G is the 5th note. So if we play the 1st, the 3rd, and the 5th notes together at the same time, we've got our first chord. And if we put the note C at the top, the last note, note number 8, or note number 1, because they're both C, we have a C major chord, and it's a familiar shape, it's a C-shaped chord. Now, I'm going to go up the neck now and just play some bar chords, and I'm going to call them by the name that relates to their sort of open chord shape. And what I'll do is I'll just grab a capo, and I'll put a capo on, and I'll demonstrate its shape in the position for that particular block. Now I'll just reach over and get my capo from here. Should have had it on the guitar. So here's my capo, or capo if you're American. So it goes on the 3rd fret, and I'm going to play an A-shaped chord here, an A major. So if I play that like we would usually, it looks like this, where I'm using my 1st, 2nd and 3rd fingers. Now because the capo is holding down the 3rd fret, this, I know it looks like an A-shaped chord, but it's actually a C chord, because that 3rd fret on the 5th string, which the capo is holding down, all of these notes would be related now to the note C, even though it looks like, when we've got a capo on, like an A chord. But it's this particular position, the way the notes fall in the scale, when we play the 1st, 3rd, 5th of the scale at the same time, it creates this shaped chord that looks like an A-shaped chord. But because of its position, it's actually a C. Now let me do the same off the 5th fret here. So I'll put the capo back on, and there we go, and I'm going to play a G chord. You can see that looks like a G major, an open G. But in this position, if I take the capo off, by barring the 5th fret all the way across all the 6 strings and then making my G-shaped chord there. This might look like a G, but it's actually a C chord because I'm on the 8th fret 6th string, and the way the notes fall in this position, again when I play the 1st, 3rd, 5th notes, and those notes will reoccur across the strings. So that in this position there's going to be 2 octaves of that C scale. So here I've got a G-shaped chord, but it's actually a C because of its position on the neck. Now off the 8th fret, again I'll place my capo in the position, and then I'll make an E-shaped chord, an E major shape. Now again, if I bar that, I'm on the 8th fret, which is where the C is, the middle C. If I bar that note, those notes there, and I make the shape of an E chord with the rest of my fingers, I've got an E-shaped chord. And then finally off the 4th string, I'm not going to bar anything here, but I'm just going to fret the notes, and this would be, if I sort of make this shape here, a D-shaped chord. I'll pop the capo on that one as well and just show you. So this is the 10th fret on the guitar, and as you can see I'm going to play a D from the 4th string down. That 4th string 10th fret was where the treble C was. So this is C major with a D-shaped chord, and if I fret that chord, taking the capo off, you'll see that I have to, it's not a very comfortable position to play, but there's the C major chord but with a D shape. So this is where this cage chord system sort of comes in. Down in our 1st position we have a C-shaped chord. Now these are all C's, these chord shapes, and they're all constructed from the 1st note of the C scale. So C major with a C shape in the 1st position, C major with an A shape in the 2nd position, C major with a G shape in the 3rd position, C major with an E shape in the 4th position, and C major with a D shape in the 5th position. So there are 5 what we would call root positions for the key of C on the guitar that can be played in maybe 6 different ways, you know, but anyway. So next job for you guys is to get your fingers round those basic shapes. So you found all the C's. Now your job is to learn those 5 root chord shapes for the key of C in the 5 block positions on the guitar neck. So don't forget, on my website in the members area there's a worksheet for this that will show you how to find all the natural notes on the guitar neck, and it blocks out these 5 basic chord shapes on the guitar, and you've really got to get those under your fingers. So in the next video I'm going to be basically showing you how to play the major scale going all the way across and all the natural notes in each one of these 5 positions on the guitar. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. See you in the next video.